Hi. Let's talk about going forward. Going forward, simply put, means in the future, starting right now, reaching some future undefined point. Let me be a little more specific. Some years ago, this was probably 2002, 2003. I had recently moved to New York. I had one of my first corporate jobs there. I was processing a magazine subscription renewal forms or something. It doesn't matter. And anyway, I was working in this Excel document, and my boss came up to me one day and pointed out that I'd been making a mistake. In fact, I'd been making the same mistake for weeks. A lot of the work I had done was wrong, and it was wrong in a way that was going to cause problems. As he explained my mistake, I became more and more upset, not because I really cared about the renewal notices, but because I was worried about my own job, and also because I absolutely dreaded the idea that I was going to have to go back and fix all the mistakes that I'd made, in addition to all the other work that I had to do. So, when he was done, he said, "Any questions?" And I said, "Well, yes. I mean, how do you want me to start going about fixing all these mistakes that I made? I mean, should I stay later? Should I do it during lunch? And what are we going to do?" And he said, "Oh, no, 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 no. That's not what I meant at all." He said, I'm not telling you to go back and change anything you already did. I'm talking about how you need to work going forward. You see, in the American corporate world, this is how it's done. Most announcements about significant changes in policy use the phrase going forward in order to dispel any doubt about whether or not the new policy has a meaningful relationship to the past. The answer is it doesn't. Let's take another example. Let's say you're working in an office and there's a new attendance policy. Okay? Employees have to be in the office by 9 a.m. That's the policy. Now, suppose the boss comes in, gathers everybody together, and says, "Listen, may I have your attention? Our business hours here start at 9 a.m., and I expect every one of you to be at your desks working at 9 and not a second later." Okay? Well, if the boss does that, then he's going to be bothered by employees showing up in his office after the announcement, saying things like, "Hey, boss, wait a second. About your announcement, 9 a.m., that's our time, that's our start time. Well, Jimmy over there never gets here before 9. In fact, he's been showing up for over 5 years at around 9:22. And now you're saying that our starting time is 9. Well, is that a new policy? Or is Jimmy violating the old policy and he's been violating it for 5 years? Are you going to punish Jimmy? Or wait, are you saying that I could have been getting here at 9:22 every morning myself, just like Jimmy, all the way up until you made the announcement today? Are you going to punish Jimmy? Is there no justice at this company or in general? Okay, so by using the phrase going forward, the boss implies that he is not interested in getting into that conversation. The point of working in an office is not to have existential debates about the nature of responsibility. The point is to make money for the stockholders. Using the phrase going forward is like pushing a reset button. What happened before you just said it doesn't matter. The expression going forward is somewhat related to the phrase going back to at least the 17th century. There's no use crying over spilt milk. In other words, the mistake has already been made. Expending your energy on sorrow and regret doesn't do any good. You've got to move on with the important task of cleaning up the milk. But these two phrases are not identical. You see, in the fast-paced culture of American business, we don't even worry about cleaning up the milk. The phrase going forward has nothing to do with addressing past mistakes. On the contrary, the whole point is to not think about those mistakes at all. So you spilled some milk. Don't cry over the spilled milk, of course, but for the love of God, don't waste your time getting a towel or a sponge or some hot water or anything like that. Don't even look at the milk. Someone will clean it up, probably. Lift your chin up. Gaze off into the distance. And think about all the wonderful things you're going to do going forward.